Hello, my name is Cree, poet, rapper, storyteller, and today's video we're going to be looking at editing one of the poems that you've hopefully written over the last 3 videos. So you're going to need your pen, bit of paper, and also an additional pen, so hopefully a different colour. So if, like me, you were writing in black, I used a blue pen, but either or, just something a different colour so we can edit and go through our work and see what the corrections are. So, editing, right? Why bother editing? Why is editing important? To me, I think of editing a little bit like a sculptor. An artist will take a lump of rock and maybe they're making like a human face, well, not a human face, a replica of a human face, and they would have carved out of the rock. They would have got a rough looking face, looks pretty cool, but are they finished? Or do they really want to get the nose, like, and the eyes and all the specific beautiful little subtleties that make up a human face to really come out? So what editing gives us a chance to do is take away the bits that we don't need and maybe finesse and add in some extra bits that were perhaps missing. So it's really important. I mean, some people will edit, they'll take a long time over editing. Me, I tend to take quite a while. I'm also, as a lot of the things I write inevitably go on to be performed. To me, part of my editing process, as well as sitting down with a pen and paper, going through it, checking word for word, is also putting it in front of an audience, what works, what doesn't, etc. So editing, you know, you can take as long as you want with it, basically, but I'm going to show you a few basic things today. All right, so if you get your pens at the ready, we're going to start off with a little warm-up exercise and then we're going to get straight into it. All right, so for this first exercise, you'll need your pen and paper. I'm going to, well, I want you to write a very simple sentence with one fact about something you've done in your day so far. All right, very simple. You're going to write one sentence with one fact about something you've done in your day so far. This has to be a very simple sentence. All right, you don't need all the bells and whistles. It's just got to be a simple sentence. For example, like the one that I've written, which was, this morning for my breakfast I ate a bowl of bran flakes, which is true. The bran flakes were lovely. All right, so take a moment, write your simple sentence with one fact about something that's happened in your day so far. Off you go. All right, so now you've got your simple sentence. What I now want you to do is, with your different color pen, I want you to read the sentence through a few times. I want you to underline every single word. Now, as you're reading it through, preferably out loud, do this 3 or 4 times. Take a note, is there anything that you like in that sentence? Is there anything that's working as a particular word or phrase that you like? If so, make a note of it. So for example, in my sentence, I like the alliteration of bran flakes, bowl and breakfast. Bran flakes, bowl, breakfast, the B sounds. There's a bit of to me, a rap rhythm to it. I ate a bowl of breakfast, I ate a bowl of breakfast, I ate a bowl of breakfast. So there's different ways I can say it. So I'm making a note here that perhaps when I go to edit this sentence and change things, that's something that I may want to keep. So once you've done that, you've read it through a couple of times, then what I want you to do is, where you've underlined all of the words, I want you to take at least 3 and see if you can swap those words out. Change it for a similar word or phrase that perhaps sounds a bit different but a bit more like you. So ultimately, you've got a simple sentence right now. So for mine, this morning for my breakfast I ate a bowl of bran flakes. It's very simple and, let's be honest, a little bit boring. It could have been written by anyone. So what I want is for it to sound a little bit more like me and a little bit more unique. I think that's part of our job as poets, is to do that, to be a bit creative with the words. And I want it to sound like me and how I'm talking. So everything we've talked about in the previous videos about using your unique words and phrases that you say on a daily basis, using your knowledge and passion of the things that you're into and using that as a way to explain things. Can you get any of that in there? So go through. You want to try and change out at least 3 words. If they don't work, that's fine. Stick with the original. But you're just using this as an opportunity to try on, you know, it's like trying on different dresses when you're going to a shop, you know. You're seeing what works, what doesn't. So take a moment, change a few around, maybe have a look at the order of the sentence. Perhaps it's not quite fitting right. So for me, in my sentence, I don't really like this morning as a way to start. So I'm going to look at that and think, is there a different way I can say this morning? Something that's a little bit more unique, but still does the same job of giving the reader a piece of information that was obviously, it's the morning and I'm writing in past tense. All right, so is there a different way I can say that? So go through, change some words, flip the orders around, see if you can get in any of your own unique sayings and words, and let's see what you come up with. Okay, right, so I've had a go and I've wound up completely changing mine, just taking it from one sentence and breaking it down into a few lines and adding in some more detail. As I mentioned earlier, I really like the rhythm of this morning I ate a bowl of bran flakes, and that inspired me to think to go down a more of a rap route with it, and I've completely changed that first line of this morning. So this is what I came up with. So from that one line, through editing, I came out with this. I only hit snooze twice. Up, toilet, tea, stretch, right and exercise. Ready for brekkie. A bowl of bran flakes at the ready. Crunch, chew, swallow, breathe. Tea, teeth, brush, shower, clean. Flipped open my laptop, started my day with energy. Okay, right, so I've obviously elongated that original sentence, but I think now it sounds a lot more interesting and a bit more like me. All right, and I was able to throw in a lot more details. I made it more of a routine, using those kind of single words like up, toilet, tea, stretch, right and exercise. I wanted it to feel like, you know, military style. This is what I do, boom, 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 with energy. And there you go. All right, and that's giving me a nice little starter for a poem, perhaps. All right, so now we're going to go into the difficult part, is where you're going to choose your poem to go on to edit. All right. Right, so now what I want you to do is take your 3 poems in whatever form they are, whether it's on the paper or on a screen, and I want you to read each poem through, out loud preferably. Which one stands out to you? Which one jumps out and says, yeah, I want to be worked on? Which of the 3 poems that you've written would you want to show someone? If someone had to come and see what you've been doing, what have you been doing during this lockdown? So you can show them one. Which one would you show? Which one gives you a strong feeling? If you've only written one, it's fine. Still go through, read it 2 or 3 times. You're going to go through the same process anyway. So take a couple of minutes, really think about those questions, really think about the feelings they evoke, if any, and also, you know, which one do you feel most proudest of, or which one gives you that burning desire to want to go on and work more on it. So take a couple of minutes for this. Hopefully now you've made your choice. I'm sure it was difficult. So for me, I'm going to go with the list poem that I wrote 2 videos ago. That was the one that jumped out for me, and that's the one that I want to go on to develop. There's plenty of work that I can do with that one. So now what I want you to do is get your different coloured pen, and essentially here you're going to repeat the exercise that you just did in the warm-up, but with your poem that you've now selected. All right, so you're going to go through it, underline all the words, and then line by line I want you to go through the poem. Are there any words you can change to make it sound more like you? Is the order of the sentence okay? Is there different words you can use to perhaps express something that you're trying to express? Are any of the lines repeating? And when I say repeating, right, are they saying the same thing but just in a different way? Is it necessary to have 2 lines saying the same thing but in a different way? It's entirely up to you. So but here you have to be quite brutal. You have to really think about, you're trying to get this into a nice lean shape. All right, so you don't want to take up more time than is necessary if someone was going to read it or listen to it. You want to get to the absolute truth of what you're trying to say. Okay, so go through, underline, change any words, maybe reorder it. It's perhaps the first line perhaps will work better in the middle, but have a go. This is your chance to experiment, and I keep going through. If you wind up making loads of changes, so there's loads of like red pen all over your page, perhaps it might be good to start again on a fresh page and rewrite it out with the additional changes. You're going to have to rewrite it out anyway as part of the next task. If you haven't written on paper and you've written on your phone or a tablet or your laptop, what I'd suggest here is that you copy and paste it into a new file. Ideally, I think it's really important that you're able to see the progress of something. So you can see where you've written the original, and with the different color pen, you can see where you've made the changes. Whereas electronically, it's a bit more difficult to do that. However, what you can do is open it in a new document. So then later on, you can compare the two and you've got a record of the progress. So you can see, okay, this is the original, now this is the fresher one with the changes. So again, take a few minutes to do this. Take as long as you need, really. So really think about what words are doing. What does it sound like you? Does it say what you want it to say? Are you using all your passion and knowledge to explain things? If someone was to read it, would they know it was you? So all these things are really, really important. And is each line doing what you want it to do? All right, so take a few minutes here. It's really important. Best of luck. Hello. All right, so hopefully now you've gone through with your different color pen or in your new document. You've probably made a few changes, all going well, or maybe it was perfect first time round. For me, that never happens. Very, very rarely. Generally, things take several drafts before I get onto a stage where I think that's all right. All right, to give you a little idea, this is obviously black pen was my original, so you can see all the blue where I've made the changes on this is my list poem, and I'll talk them through a little bit more in a minute. What I was trying to do here, I realized I had quite a few lines that were doing the same thing. So I took them out, and then I realized there was a theme running through where I could have one line that said a happy thing, and then the line after I thought, okay, maybe I could portray a sadder emotion. So you get those kind of couplets that do the opposite. So I've kept that as a theme running through it towards the end, and I ended up adding a few extra lines in, but I'll show you what that is in a minute in the completed poem at the end. So now what I want you to do, that was my notebook there falling on the floor. All right, so now you've got your completed poem, or edited poem anyway. I want you to read it through 2 or 3 times, just as you've done in all of the other exercises. Really start to think, does this sound good? Does it feel good when I'm reading it? Does it read well as your eyes scan across the page? And then once you've done that, rewrite it out on a fresh page. Best handwriting if possible, but it's not essential. My handwriting isn't great. So as long as you're able to read it, that's fine. And also the process of rewriting it out, I know it's laborious and probably a bit boring, but it helps with the familiarization of your hand, of your mouth, your eyes and your brain. So you're really starting to embody this poem. Even if you don't go on to perform it, this is all part of the process of getting to know the work. All right, and whilst you're doing that, you may want to make a few more additional edits as things might jump out that haven't yet jumped out. So again, take a few minutes here. You're going to read it through 2 or 3 times, make any last minute changes, and then rewrite it on a fresh page. Same thing if you're working electronically on your phone or a computer, write it in a new document. All right, see you in a sec. Cool. So hopefully now you have a well edited, tight poem ready to be presented in the next video. So I showed you earlier the corrections and edits that I made on my own list poem. Here's the rewritten out fresh poem. So you see my handwriting isn't great, but it's okay, I can read it, you know, maybe I'll type it up if I want it to look nice. So I'm just going to read you what I've done. There's quite a few changes. I've added a few lines. I also took a few out because I felt that they were saying the same thing that I'd already said earlier, just with different words, and they weren't that necessary. So this is what I've got on any given day. On any given day, I'm a DIY enthusiast trying to balance the spirit level. A fresh-faced winger flying past a fullback. A sleepy student sneaking a snooze in science class. My wife's face at the sight of an unwashed plate. My wife's face on our wedding day. The crumpled duvet head under the pillow. The enthusiastic pupil hand up for every gesture. A blister finger repeatedly pressing the snooze button. A delighted fan repeatedly watching the replay. The collected centre back organising the defence. The odd sock at the bottom of the sock drawer. The sound of the bell at the end of the day. The teacher marking books long after class is finished. A hole in the backpack. A forgotten PE kit. A brand new replica top from my favourite team. The sinking sound as I settle into the settee, palm warm from a cup of tea. On any given day, this is how you'll find me. Okay, so that is our editing done. Last video is going to be about presenting your work. So I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can do that. So well done. If you've got this far, I've been Cree, Peas and Taters.